This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another special episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Pickers. Alongside me, I got Sakura, I got Rob. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, I'm glad to see you guys. It's an exciting week.
That it is a long-awaited fight for a lot of people. We got
Mm.
Terrence Crawford jumping. I don't know how many weight divisions. If you want to count 154, I mean, what do you have? One fight there, too. So
Oh,
basically three divisions he's coming up to fight Canelo Alvarez. Before we get into the thick of all of that, though, let's discuss the undercard here, guys. Anything at all that you guys are somewhat excited for? Names you might recognize. This is a pretty ho hum undercard for the most part.
Not to Dana White in Turkey. No. Not to them. They said they put a lot into the matchups for these undercards. The
They lied.
biggest thing is that most of these fighters are up and coming fighters, like the Fernando Vargas Jr. He can thump, and he's a special prospect, and he's active. I think his last fight was a couple months ago. So he's very active, and he's taking on the biggest opponent in his career, uh, taking on Callum
Callum.
Walsh.
Uh-huh.
Callum Walsh, yeah. So that fight right there is gonna thump, and that's being the main undercard. Of course, you have Christian um,
And Billy.
and Billy on the undercard. He can thump as well. Lester Martinez, who he's fighting, um, it's a odds are close on that fight. The odds are really close. So I
Mm.
think they're expecting that fight to thump and go hard. And then so they're really billing it as more up and coming fighters who are in matchups against, each other. Uh newly crowned prospects against new prospects, really. So I think that's what they're banking, that's what they're trying to look forward to is bringing those names up. But Lucas, let's face it, the main event is the showstopper. Period. You only need that card, those two names on a billing, and it sells.
Yeah, and I think they know that. Otherwise, they would have added a little bit more of some flavor to this undercard. They don't have a lot of recognizable names. If you're a boxing head, you're going to know some of these guys, but for these people that are just tuning in on Netflix and just tuning into the fight game, those common fan guys, you're not going to know anybody on here. You have to sell the undercard. This is not a pay per view, go guys. This is on Netflix, so maybe they were like, "Meh, why try harder when we have what we need?" Um,
Okay.
you can see both sides with this too, because like you were saying, Rob. I mean, some guys that maybe might not get exposure at all are now on a very very big undercard. So I don't know how to take it. It maybe it's worse for viewers, but it's better for boxing overall. I'm kind of stuck there. I don't know.
Well, I don't know how it can be good for boxing, but not for fans. That's the whole premise is that these are supposed to be entertaining to fans. I did recognize a few names, but at the same time, I'm used to these fighters, these boxers being on what we call the preliminaries on other cards, not the main card. You know what I'm saying? Some of these are main card fights. Um, I wish it was a little bit more um as far as name worthy, but hey, if you can make knockouts with these matchups, then I can see why they would go that route if they could save money at the same time. Because the two top dogs, they're getting paid exponentially.
um,
And so, that's where most of the money is going. and everybody knows that. So I don't know. I know when I used to throw boxing parties, Lucas, you can speak to this too. People never showed up anyway till till the actual main event was about to start, and you'd get like a 8 or 9 texts like, "Oh, is it on yet? Is it on yet? Is it to the co-main yet?" Like they want to know before they even show up that what they want to see is about to come on. So I don't know that it's necessarily a big deal that this undercard isn't as no name worthy as we diehard fans would like. So
That's fair.
because yeah, it's only us that cares about like showing up for the prelims at like 5 o'clock and
You
and
know
keep
what's
watching all night.
Yeah, what's funny to me is like the people that you see that get tickets to these things. It's like you ain't gonna show up for the whole thing. You paid for all of it. You gonna show up for just the co-main and the main event? Nah, my ass is there for all 12 fights. I'm gonna see every damn fight. I paid for that. Why not? Why would you not?
Mhm.
Why would you spend all that money and then just show up just at the end?
It's a
Um,
couple of times that I went to some big fights with Emilio, and like literally, it would be us and like maybe 7 or 8 more people, like there for the beginning of the night looking at fights, and nobody else. It just started filling in when it got like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, you know what? And my friends, if you're listening, you know, but you won't get in the door at my house. You show up at damn right for the main event. Okay,
Wow.
you don't get let in. Okay, you got to show up at whatever time I tell you to be there. And it's a party, y'all. And you in it either in it for the long haul or you leave before the main event. 9 times out of 10, they gonna stay for the main event because that's what they all came for.
Is it
But
like doors are open free till 9 o'clock?
you don't get let in after a certain period, right? You don't get let in, okay? Um, but listen, um, one thing, two things noticeable to me on this card, the prelims as well as the undercard. The Crawford Canelo fight is the only championship fight on this card. So certainly they're building it around Canelo Crawford. But I mean, you have matchups anywhere from super featherweight all the way up to heavyweight on the prelims and the undercard. So it's a pretty good mixed bag of fights. You got super middle, you got super welterweight on the main card, super featherweight. You have a heavyweight bout on the prelims. You got a light heavyweight bout on the prelims. So you know it's pretty mixed. It's a good mixed crowd in terms of divisions here.
Yeah.
yeah, but we know, right, Rob, that you don't give a shit about no super featherweight. You don't like
No,
those little guys.
no, but I'm definitely going to watch the heavyweights, the light heavyweights, the super middles, the welterweights, even. You know, and again, huge fan of Fernando Vargas Jr. I loved his father, loved him. He had a heart, determination, willpower. You know, until he ran out of steam. Fernando Vargas Jr. has that dog in him. So that's gonna be a treat for people to watch. I think earlier this year he had one of the knockouts of the year candidates when he knocked out his opponent this year. This kid can
Okay.
thump.
That's true. You got Bohocek versus fan friendly Brandon Adams. So, however long that fight lasts, which I don't see that one going the distance, it's going to be a fun fight. I mean, you may have a couple of sleeper fights in here, just not the big selling point names like we might like. But we might be surprised with this undercard. It could sneak up on you. All right, let's get into the thick of things here. Right, Canelo Crawford we're going to split this up a little bit. Um, First, I want to say, is the size going to matter? Who wants to take that on?
You already know my answer. No,
Why
no.
not? You got to come with more
Size
than
doesn't
just
matter.
no.
Size doesn't matter.
A lot of people are going to argue with you, Rob, and say, well, we made weight divisions because it matters. What are you going to say there?
There have been three times in Canelo's career where he's been embarrassed. Three times. Okay?
Name
And
them.
all three different weights. All three different weights. He was embarrassed, obviously, by Floyd Mayweather, the biggest embarrassment of his career. He was embarrassed by Bivol, obviously,
Okay.
which is higher up in weight. And he was embarrassed by Lara. Yes, he was embarrassed by the Lara fight. And a lot of people thought he lost it, me included. He's been embarrassed at three different weights, in my opinion, in his career. And all of these fighters, by the way, who have embarrassed him, all possess the same skill set Terrence Crawford has.
Okay, hang on now. Explain a little bit more on what you mean here, because I'm a little confused. You're comparing Bivol and Terrence Crawford now, because I'm getting lost. What do you mean?
All of them, to me, Terrence Crawford is the most skilled fighter I've probably seen. Um, after Floyd Mayweather, of course. Floyd is a different animal, though. Okay, Floyd is known for defense. He couldn't, dump it as big as Terrence can. He didn't pack a big punch like does. Okay, so to me, I think skill wise, Terrence Crawford, in my opinion, might be one of the greatest skilled fighters I've ever seen.
It's funny that people keep saying that, because I'm not saying he's bad. I do think he's a great fighter. My problem is he has not proven that. He has
So
not proven
Lucas,
that because he has
Lucas,
not
back
faced
it
I
up
knew
by
he was gonna
actual
come back to
facts,
that.
please.
black it up by
Back it
actual
up.
facts.
Back it up by actual facts. Meaning, what have you seen him lack in the ring? Then?
We're
If
gonna we're
he's
gonna
not
get to
as skilled,
we're
what
gonna
have
get
you
to that
seen
when
him
we
lack?
get to the experience part of it, which we'll do next. But size difference here, I think size matters on every fight, Rob. I think there's a reason that Ryan Garcia weighed 3 pounds more and looked better and did what he did to Devin Haney, regardless of the whole test and steroid whatever he was doing on the side. Uh, there's a point to where size definitely matters. Draining yourself matters. Crawford is not going to have been able to gain all of it in muscle weight. A lot of this is going to have to be water weight, right? And you're taking Crawford has to fight completely different, because this is not going to be a Crawford that you've ever seen before. He has that extra weight on him, so he's going to lose speed. He ain't going to be the same speed. He's gonna be taking punches from a bigger guy, way bigger than what he's had before, right? He's struggled against lesser, littler fighters. He's been hurt by smaller, lesser fighters. That's what I'm getting to. Size is definitely going to matter when it comes into this ring. I know when you look at them that the weigh-ins and the face-offs, they look the same size, and Terrence may even be a little bit taller. I think, at least it
He
appears to be.
is. He's
But
taller and his reach is longer.
that don't matter, okay? Because when it comes down to it, I'm not talking about just height. I'm talking about width. I'm talking about girth, thickness, and all of that.
Bone density. Yeah.
Yes, it's gonna come into play. Okay.
Well, what I like about it is, you know, Rob had mentioned Lara as being you know, well, possibly a defeat for Canelo. Um, and I do agree that I thought that Lara won that fight, but he didn't do enough to
It
beat
was
the
close.
champion the way they want you to
Yeah.
beat a champion. But and that was a southpaw, you know. Lara's a southpaw, Bud is a southpaw. Um, no doubt Trout, southpaw, you know. It's a couple of other ones. Baval is still orthodox, but he's very highly skilled, the way that a Bud would be. So it's a lot of pros for Bud. But you just got to get back down to, do you see a Bud Crawford being able to stop a Canelo? And for me, I just don't see the evidence of it, being that I know that Canelo has been in there with harder punchers before at, bigger weight classes. And then there's also this thing where nobody believes like that you're gonna get a decision against Canelo.
And that's
So
also true.
so my calculation is that Canelo will probably win this fight. Um, because if you don't see your opponent actually knocking someone out, and they're not going to get a decision on the card, like, you kind of like have to go from there. And in order for Bud Crawford to overcome those type of obstacles, something spectacular has to happen. And he is and can be spectacular in a fight, but from what we've seen, with his last opponent that was supposed to be highly competitive, is that Spence was no match at all for him. For us to be able to use as a litmus test, I mean,
For sure.
it's
Definitely agree
it
there.
we all kind of left without that feeling that we wanted to have that night.
Yeah.
Which
We were
is,
thinking we're gonna find something out about Bud, and then we're like,
yeah,
I don't think I figured it out. I don't think
Well,
I
you
learned
bring up a
nothing.
great point though with Spence. In staying on what the topic was here, my personal opinion, I thought Spence was the bigger fighter in that bout coming into it. I
You can
thought he
argue that.
definitely, everybody thought he
yes,
was the more supposed to be the more powerful
right,
fighter going into that fight. And Buzz said hell no round one. From round one, Bud
yeah,
established his point and made it crystal clear throughout that fight that he's nothing to play with when it comes to Spence.
No,
Back to one of your other points, Sakura, when we talk about some of the lackluster performances or performances that Canelo may have lost, it's very important to note, especially in the case with Lara. Lara didn't run from him. Lara didn't run from him. Canelo's last performance to me was lackluster because of the opponent. I will say that the opponent actually did run from Canelo, and he don't like that type of fight, and he don't like going in there against guys like that. It frustrates him. I get it, but guys like Lara, guys like Mayweather, they didn't run from him. They utilized their defense and ring generalship, but they really didn't run from him.
right.
So
I
I
mean, but
think
I
that's
hate that
also
when Canelo was like, "Oh, I don't like this style," and it's like, dude, this is a sweet science. This is what some boxers are gonna do. It's you're supposed to be able to cut the ring off with guys like that want to, stay on the move. And who knows what the strategy is that Bud may be thinking about doing. Because he might be like, well, let me stay away from that sting and that power, in the beginning rounds. Or it could be like, I want to prove that I'm the best right away. So I'm going to, shock him and his team and the fans by, like, pouring on a lot of offense right away. So we just don't know what that strategy might be. I mean, to me, it's like better not to, play with a mad fire ant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta wait and get away from the main sting of it. So I don't know if he gonna try that or not, but it works for some boxers when the opponent's team, they think that they're gonna try to stay away from him for a while, like, but then and they don't, and then it totally goes wrong for some people because they misjudge like just how powerful somebody is. And so it's going to be interesting to me just to see the strategy behind the fight, not just, who's going to win. and who shows more during the course of the fight, but just like what's the strategy to beat a Canelo? I mean, you got Bivol who had a game plan. Lar definitely used, ring generalship in his fights. I think Amir Khan was even doing well with him until he wasn't. So, we just gotta see what that strategy is. Right now, I'm still on the fence about it, but because Canelo has the age advantage by about I think 3 years.
Mhm.
And then he also has more fights overall. He's had more quality competition
Yeah.
overall. So there's some pluses. Oh, and he's never been down.
Never
Not
been
that
down.
I know of.
Never really been hurt. I mean, look
Yeah, that's true.
against Jose Cotto way back in the day. I mean, there's not a lot. This dude has a granite chin. You guys know how I feel about Canelo. But at the same point, you can't deny. I mean, he's been hit by the best. He's hit by Golovkin, by Bivol, uh, Kovalev. You name it. He's kind of been hit by those guys. So his chin is tested. It's true.
Right. It's tested.
I'm seeing some of these comments on the Facebook and YouTube, like, "Oh, Crawford's gonna knock him out." I'm like, "What fucking world do you live in, man? Like, why do you think he's gonna knock him out?" Crawford has problems with all kinds of fighters getting him out of there, and you think he's knocking out Canelo, all people? Like, you're going up 2 weight classes, and he's gonna carry power and gain some at the same time. Like, make it make sense. Canelo, we're talking about experience now. I do not see the experience in Crawford's favor. This is definitely all Canelo. Like we just said, he fought against the best. I mean, Golovkin, he's fought the big names. Terrence Crawford, I'm sorry, guys, I don't see it. There is a huge gap here. And I know we want to bring up Errol Spence. There is a reason why Errol Spence has not fought since. He was not healthy in that fight. He still ain't healthy. I don't think he's going to fight again. Maybe he would. But if so, he is never going to be what he once was. That Errol Spence is gone. So when you take Spence out of the equation, guys, what do we have left? What can we say about Crawford and say, boom, this is it?
I got you.
Listen, two-time weight division champion or two-time undisputed.
Undisputed.
And what do we got to show for it? Really not a lot, because Spence was holding most of those belts, right? And then the weight division below, you damn sure know you probably can't even name those names without looking them up. He has not fought anybody. I don't care that you have that accolade that says two-time undisputed. That don't matter. What matters is who you had to defeat to get to that point. And we're not there. We're not there. I see nothing in Crawford's resume that makes me like, man, we got to worry here, right? He had problems with Lundy. He had problems with, not Errol Spence, which was the weirdest part, right? He kind of walked through him, right? But you have problems with lower guys like Gamboa, obviously Madrimov, who is still at 154. We're talking about 168, guys. We're talking about bigger and better. And Madrimov is far from a pound-for-pound fighter. He has not fought anyone close to the top or anyone even remotely in the top 20 pound-for-pound. And now we're talking about top 5 pound-for-pound. You are going from basically no experience to this is the best that boxing has to offer now.
Well, Lucas, I see your experience argument, but I raise you this issue. Game plan. Canelo doesn't have one. Never has. He fights the same way each and every time out. And in every fight he has struggled in that we've mentioned tonight, those have been guys with solid game plans, executed on those game plans. And nobody in the business, nobody in the sport right now is going to have a game plan as better than Terrence Crawford. Period. Nobody is going to have
I hear what you're
a
saying,
game.
but what game plan? Where are you seeing this either? Like we're talking about now with experience, right? Where has he fought differently? Most of Crawford's fights look the same. He is not some chameleon, Rob. He's not Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't adapt. He kind of fights somewhat the same every time. And I don't see him fighting Canelo like Bivol. I definitely don't see him fighting like Laura, like you said, and he's not Floyd Mayweather. No matter how much we want him to be, he does not fight like either of those three, or none of those three fighters.
Which is why he's so special. It's absolutely why he's so
That was the
special.
politic answer if I've ever heard one. He said, I ain't got
But
an
look,
answer, but that's why he's
Lucas,
special. That's why he's special.
look,
Come on, man.
Lucas is on negating the fact here that what was I gonna say? Because I was gonna make a point with this here. Um, yeah, you're negating the fact, which I understand. Okay, I understand. We can't really say this about any fighter, right? You can't. But you're negating the fact that nobody can beat Terrence Crawford. Nobody. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter who you say, what they're gonna bring to the table, experience or not, who he's fought, who he hasn't fought. None of them can beat him. None of them can.
I can't win this argument with you, Rob, because I have to use logic, and you're just like, "Well, Tommy Crawford's gonna win because he's the best." Like, come on, man, you gotta give me more. You have to go. What are you seeing? What do you think is gonna happen that makes this so different? Like, what have you seen in Crawford's past? He barely got past Madrimov. That's a 154. That's Madrimov. That is
We
not
just go back to the
Canelo
scorecards,
Alvarez.
please, because they gave what, maybe 1, 2 rounds to Madrimov.
Oh no no. Even then, I mean, it was 115, 113, 116, 112, 115, 113. We all
It was
know, Rob,
115,
Rob.
113.
We all know if you are the A-lister, and that score, that means you fucked the other guy. That guy got robbed. Nadramov probably got a draw or even maybe won that fight, but he was not awarded it because guess what? His name don't mean shit. There ain't that money involved. And you know that, Rob. That's how boxing worked. That's how it's been working since Ali and Frazier's been in this motherfucker. You have to have that name. And that champion, that A-lister, they come in with 2 rounds under their belt already. So the fact that it's 115, 113 on two scorecards, that means he potentially lost to Madrimov. That's
Well,
way too close.
you're gonna see it on Saturday. You're right. You can't answer that, and you don't have to. We'll see on Saturday.
I
Squirrel,
think both of
I
you
can't
guys.
win. He's not even putting up an argument. He's just saying, "Oh, we're gonna see." Oh,
I just feel
Terrence
both of you
Crawford.
guys have a
Can't nobody
great
fight
point.
Terrence Crawford. Can't nobody fight Terrence Crawford. He don't got a point. What do you mean, Sakura? He ain't even using reasons. He just said, "Oh, well, you can't see that." What do you mean?
I
I,
mean,
I got nothing to
based
go
on
off
who
of.
he's fought in the past, he's saying that, he always comes out with that W. And, that's what real champions do. I mean,
True.
and a lot can be said for Canelo in the same right, because it's been a few of his latest opponents where, he let them do all kinds of things and outmaneuver them and move around, and he just sat there and waited until they got tired and their legs stopped going as much, and then it's just pounced on them and, stopped the fights. So, you know, he still knows how to pull out a W too. So that's what makes it intriguing. Um, I just feel like your points are more towards, what have you done for me lately? Like, in other words, who
Not
is
even
Bud?
lately. Not even lately, but at all. At all. Show me what you have
I mean,
seen
I had
that
read a
makes
lot.
you think Crawford's got this. That's all I'm asking. Is like, what do you see? What do you see? Is it the jab? What
I mean, I
strategically?
see that
I
he's a
don't see it.
southpaw that gives. I see that he's a southpaw and that can give. We've seen in the past where that gives Canelo, some pause or some issues, and so that's number one. What I see, and the Cuban American. Well, he's not American, but the Cuban that fought him last. He was doing a lot of that sweet science type boxing, and had he just thrown his hands, he would have, actually, if had he just thrown his hands
Yeah, more
more,
problems.
yeah, he
Yes.
would have won that fight. And it's the same type of, where you got a lot of foot movement and you know where to, have Canelo going towards because he kind of follows you sometimes. So, I mean, if you're the right type of technical boxer, and know how to set up punches, and you see that Canelo is the type that kind of follows you around and lets you guide, then you got a lot of room to set up things. I just don't feel like when he does set these things up and when he does land, that it's going to be enough to be effectively aggressive against Bud. In other words, if we're talking about judges' standards, that punch can't not just land, it needs to be effective and cause some type of, damage or some type of a reaction. And
Right.
that's hard to do with Canelo. And that's the one reason why a lot of times we don't agree with those scorecards that the judges have with him because they're looking at the difference. Like we see one thing, but they're actually scoring and calculating best based on the punch and its effectiveness. So I don't know. I'm just saying, like it could go either way. I mean, I'm having problems seeing it. Okay. I know Bud is going to be moving and making them and being slick for a while. And then he got that southpaw movement. And he can, if he chooses to, decide to switch it up and just be orthodox for a round or two. These are things that he uses to his advantage and, confusing the boxer, his opponent. So he has some tricks up his sleeves he can use. Whereas Canelo, he likes to move forward, he likes to be aggressive, and he also allows you to tire yourself out if you're not careful. And then meanwhile, he's like reserving energy for later in the fight. So he could get caught up in that as well. So it is still an intriguing fight, even though I do believe that there are weight classes for a reason.
Here's something that I hate about the fans. Lucas, pull up Gonzalez comment again for me, please. I'll wait. I'll
Oh,
give
what
you
do you
that
say?
right there.
Is it, bro? You are you dumb? Terrence Crawford ain't got on Canelo
Yeah,
or the.
okay.
I want to see
The,
this
no, you know the first
fight
one, the
saving.
one that you just went with.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And the second one, because it goes along with what I'm saying. He ain't got shit on talent. Talent. He has more talent than Canelo.
See, Rob,
Period.
Rob,
Period.
Rob,
And
you say
then when it happens on Saturday, like I said it does, I'm taking this shit to the bank. All the
Rob,
way to the bank.
Rob, you say it, but we can't verify that. We can't verify that. You think he has more talent? I don't know. I'm saying it could have been, but I'm also saying he's older now. He has not faced the fighters coming up. In fact, if anything, it appears like he avoided a few of them. You still have Virgil Ortiz that he's just like, I'm gonna keep on going. We got Boots. He said, I ain't looking over there. I'm gonna keep going this way. He's trying to get to that Canelo fight. He held out for that Canelo fight. He went up to try to get that Canelo fight. I think he wants that money. He wants this big paycheck. I'm not saying he's taking a loss on purpose, but I do think he wants this one paycheck, and I think Crawford may be out of here. I think it may
Yeah.
be it.
And
I
and
mean,
and
it's
that's
not wrong
and
for him to want that type of paycheck to end his career when, as we said, some of these bigger fights at his previous weight divisions have been elusive. He basically was like froze out for like 5 years before that Spence fight happened because all the welterweights were over in PBC, side of the street at that time. So,
That's what we say, but and we know, like you went ahead and you re-signed with Bob Arum for another few years.
I
You
understand what
you
you're
know the
saying. I'm just
situation,
saying,
and you
but
avoided it.
I get what you're
More than
saying.
one way
I
to say
do
the
understand what you're saying. I'm just simply saying that the money hasn't been there a lot for him. Like in some people with his name notorieties, like they've been able to obtain way more, megafights in order to cushion them for retirement. I'm saying I don't feel like that's there for him. So I do not blame him for going after the Canelo money.
What
But
about
he has courage enough to get in that ring and still try to come up with a strategy to win. And has a lot of people feeling like he could actually win
what?
because they're looking and they are seeing that the size different. Like, wait, Terrence is taller than him. Wait, the reach is it's small, but it's a little longer reach. Like not by much. I'm think it's like 1.5 inches or something. So he can get in and he can make something happen with the jabs and stuff with that reach. So it's not like
Okay, even
Charlo, like remember when Charlo went up and we thought that that was going to be, well, some of us thought that it was going to be like this huge, like entertaining fight. And then it ended up being where, I believe Charlos felt that power
and he gave
from that division and didn't like it.
Mhm.
um, and it kind of froze him up from attempting to, put off any kind of offense after that because you don't know what's about to come back at you. So um, we know for sure that that Bud is a more talented fighter than Jermell Charlo. So he also has that in his favor.
I mean,
So we'll see.
I still, I'm still uncertain. I'm not saying he is or he ain't. I'm just saying I'm still uncertain. For me, it's not what I've seen and what you're capable of. It's what you're capable of during tough competition, and the tough competition for me is simply just not there. Outstanding member says Boots can't beat no damn Bud. I mean, we don't know. He avoided him. He avoided him. I'll tell you that. And look, I'm gonna agree with you, Sakura, about we can't really hold too much over his head with the PBC thing. But what about Virgil Ortiz? That's the same top rank. You could have and should have made that fight. There's reasons why it didn't get made. We'll never know the true reasons. But I mean, that fight should have got made.
Yeah, and as
You
far
have,
as that concerned, we
you
got
have.
Xander Zayas, we got all these different 154 pounders. And, thank God for Lubin. Lubin is the one that's fighting everybody. You know, Lubin is like, okay, I'll fight you too. And, because that made the Virgil versus Lubin fight possible. We got Keith Thurman agreeing to fight Fundora, who's another, towering inferno that's at 154. So it's a lot of players at that division right now. And there's no point, like, as far as I'm concerned, like Boots is now like number one with the IBF, I believe, number one contender. So he doesn't need to come in and have no kind of fluff fights. Like there's plenty of action that these matchups need to start happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's concerned about Bud because that would be a huge fight for him. But Bud is like, but I can get a better fight and make more money if I fight Canelo. So
And
I don't
did.
know. And
And
yeah,
did.
and that makes
Of course.
sense. It's business
Everybody
sense.
fights after.
I don't think it has anything. My point is I don't think it has anything to do with him running for Boots. I think it had more to do with just the financial benefits of moving up and facing Canelo instead.
I mean, obviously, but like that doesn't mean that should be the case. Like, there's always a
Look,
lottery.
Lucas, Canelo is a bigger name than all those people that you just named.
Obviously, but
I
if
mean,
you
but I'm
still
just
haven't
saying
proved shit
you
at the
made it
lower
seem like
weight,
he
why do
was
I want to see
So
you
running,
fight
he
three
went
weights above
he
but
me?
he
wins this
wasn't running
contest.
from Boots. Is all I'm
He
saying.
wins
It's
this
like
contest. It's a bigger victory than everybody you just named.
Listen. I agree. What I'm saying is it's a lottery ticket. There's always been a lottery ticket in boxing. It's Floyd. It's Manny. It's Canelo. Obvious. It's Tank. Right? Like, those are the guys that are worth the money. That, and when you get that, that's a fucking payday. And then you can be like, hey, I can take a couple of years off, or I can just retire. So no, I'm not giving you props just for fighting Canelo in hopes that you're going to win. No, I don't care. I would fight him too. Fuck. I mean, with all that money, well, yeah, I'd fight him. Fight him tomorrow with no training. Maybe take some time off, get some
oh
surgeries,
shit.
I
fucking be
know,
able to
but
live.
the
I would
difference
never have to
is
work again. I would never have to work again. This is life changing money. So no, I'm not going to say that. Now I want to go back to CJ Hooker's comment here. He said it's a legacy fight for Canelo. A win puts him in top 5 all time. What? Why? Name another fighter that's worth a shit. So he fights one dude in Canelo, and if he wins this, even the ekes out like a 1 point majority decision or something, he's top 5. Why? Why? Please,
Because that's
somebody
Against
like
all of
now you
those
talking about
names,
a
make this
three.
to me.
Now you
Top
talking about
5.
a three
No.
divisional undisputed champion, world
And
champion.
again, so what? This is what Canelo does too. Y'all remember he would go up, grab a belt, vacate it, come down. He saw an easy win, right? He did it for the
Yeah.
notoriety, for the accomplishment, and he moved away. Again, 140. Either one of you, please name who he beat.
But
Please.
what I'm
No,
saying to
no, no,
you,
no. Hold on.
okay,
I
Undango
gotta
is who he
stamp that.
beat to get
I gotta
off
stamp that. No,
four of
it
the
does matter.
belts.
Undisputed means that you fought
I ain't
everybody
saying
that
it ain't
is there.
matter.
And it
not in
didn't happen.
boxing, it doesn't.
It
Not
didn't
in
happen.
boxing.
So, CJ, please tell me, why does he? Comment below, please. I want
So
to hear something.
Lucas is mad about the fact that he didn't fight who he wanted
Not
him
at
to
all.
fight
He fought
during his
no
career.
one. No one.
And that's all that Lucas is saying. So really,
Rob, I'm gonna put it
really,
on you
your
then.
opinion
I'm gonna
is
put it on
tainted
you.
Oh
No,
because
boy, this is
not at all.
win
always.
or lose, you're not going to give the man any credit.
Oh no, I'm
That's
still giving him credit
obvious.
for winning. But what I'm saying, Rob, is top 5. No, like I'm giving him credit if he beats Canelo, but at the same point, top 5 of all time? Hell no. I see other comments like this, so I'm not calling you out, CJ, but I am calling you out too. I want to hear from you. But at the same point, he's not the only one saying this. CJ is not the only one saying this. This is
If he
this is
beats
what I've been thinking.
Canelo, he is the biggest fighter of our era.
Why, Rob? Name some other fighters that you were like, damn, or ooh, that was a good win. You can't because there ain't one. There is not this resume. What are you seeing that makes you think he's this world beater? I don't see it.
There, there is not,
You can't
unfortunately,
name one
that
fighter, Rob.
many
I don't have to
fighters
hear it.
in this era that are this big. There's no fighters around his weight classes in this era
You
that are
just
this big.
no, 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 no. It don't have to be a big name. It has to be a big win. Bivol is not a big name, but we know he is the man in that division. You can't tell me someone he has fought that is like, damn, yeah, that's a good win. He don't have it. He has Spence and an injured Spence. He has
He has
no one
Spence.
else.
He
He
has
has
Sean
no
Porter, who
other.
was respected. Sean Porter
He,
was respected.
he
He
did
has
barely beat
Spence.
Porter. I'll give
He
him that.
beat
He was
Amir Khan, which you're gonna say was too old. I don't give a damn. No, that's the name. He beat Kell Brook. That's the name.
I'll use good.
Well, he said at 140 though, and I said,
And
you
what
know,
did
the
they beat?
last belt he collected was from the boxer. I think his name was Undango, or
Yeah.
Undago.
Yeah, and don't go.
Yeah, but he had a fight with Gamboa that he said actually was his toughest fight. I mean, he like in an interview recently, he said that he thought that was his toughest fight.
And then does
And
he go to his benefit saying Gamboa is your toughest fight? You're like, damn, what you think Canelo's gonna do to you? You think Gamboa was your toughest fight?
I mean, the machine actually knocked him down that time too at 147.
Proving my
But
point for me, Sakura.
but the champions, they know how to get up and win. Like it was like, okay, that happened. Now I'm gonna get back and I'm gonna get my get back.
Yeah,
Sean Porter was winning till they told him he wasn't winning. Bud wasn't win, and then he made Sean Porter like
quit on his.
start, yeah, really like getting frustrated with him. He couldn't act. He couldn't tactically outsmart Bud with what he was doing to him, and he knew that, so he got frustrated, I believe. You know, it's certain boxes that just know your number, like, and that might have been the case in some of these fights, but especially for the Porter fight. But I really feel that if you get Canelo, then you've beaten a top three pound for pounder over many, many years now. And so you would deserve to be placed on some type of longevity throne, if you're able to accomplish what all these other boxers have tried and only a few have accomplished, like technically the only loss would be to Floyd and Bivol, but we know that Lara fight is highly controversial, which by the way is a fight that deserved a rematch but never got it. So these are the, and then with Triple G, that was it. It deserves a trilogy, but then it was too many years in between that third flight. And it's what Lucas hates the most, guys, which is when they pulled the whole catch weight thing. Because in that Triple G last fight, they had it where he needed to be 168, even though Triple G couldn't really,
Yeah, no.
at 168. So he just had to be inside the 168 zone, which is like 10 pounds, I believe.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of things that happen in his career. People for Canelo will, be able to bring it up and say, well, a lot of his fights were catch weights in the earlier years, and then by the time he's in this stage he kind of gets to pick what opponents he really wants to face. And but there are always times when Canelo's like, okay, I'll fight who you're saying is the best now, and he's still come out on top in those fights too. So we have to give him credit as well. And if we do, then if Bud beats that type of Canelo, that dude, then we have to give him credit as well for doing so.
Yeah, and that's a if, right? I'm not going on ifs.
Yeah.
TJ says nobody's ever been undisputed in three weight classes. Nobody. Okay,
Mhm.
I see that, and I hear you, CJ. But let me ask you this question, right? So if I let me just, I'm not even going to say, just a no name fighter, some level guy that they just paper emailed the championship to, right? If I beat him in this division, he goes up somehow, either gets another title, I beat him again, and now I'm undisputed again, and then he goes up again. So really, I've beaten nobody. I can still grab that accomplishment and really not beat anybody doing so. That's what I've been saying, is I do not see this. Now, Rob Squirms, especially Rob, I've been waiting to hear something more other than, well, he's going to do it. He's got a game plan. What kind of game plan? Do you have an idea of what he's going to do? For me, I'm sitting here looking at the experience part of it, right? And we're still talking about just the experience, and I can't get over that, right? Because
So
Terrence
when you
Crawford,
say
hang on,
experience, you don't
Terrence
mean
Crawford
experience.
doesn't even have a Caleb Plant. That's
But
one
that's
name.
my
That's
problem is
one
you're saying
name on Canelo.
experience, and it's not experience, it's resume. That's what you're
It's the
disputing.
same. Experience is
No.
resume.
The man has
Experience is people
41
who
fights. He's
want what you're
41
doing.
and 0. He's 41 and 0. The man has experience. He's been in that room.
Hang
You've
on,
been in
hang
that
on.
ring before.
I can fight Rod Salka 42 times in a row. That is not experience.
First
Caleb
of all, you
Plant,
probably can't. There's
other
probably a
people.
rule against fighting the man 41 damn times on your record, and
You know
that's all
what
you're
I'm
gonna get.
saying? The names and the competition is not there. It is not there. He does not have a
So you're
Caleb Plant.
talking
He,
resume. Okay,
resume
that's
is
all I'm saying.
experience, Rob. How else do you get experience? You beat a guy, that gives you experience. It's literally the same
You,
thing.
you step in the ring for so many years. You have 41 bouts,
Listen,
no losses. You have 41 bouts, no losses. Uh,
you're not even
he's
coming with
how
an
old
argument.
now?
He
He's
can
got
sleep in the
experience.
ring. It doesn't matter. He can sleep there all he wants. He can stay there and never leave it his whole fucking life. That doesn't prove he's going to win this fight. That doesn't prove anything. All it proves is that he's been in there for 42 fights. I don't care because he didn't beat
I,
anybody, man. He didn't beat anybody.
I haven't gotten to answering your question. I'm sorry.
You're
I
taking a
was
long
just
way
yeah. No, I was just dispelling your
Lucas is
experience.
on fire tonight.
But listen, listen. To me, I think it's simple. I think it's simple. Okay. And as we said, the issues with Canelo, when somebody comes in with a game plan and outsmarts him, we all know what happens. And I'm not just talking about in just those three instances either. He did struggle with Caleb Plant as well. And Lucas, me and you thought Caleb did very well,
He did.
okay, in that fight. But what he do? He waited on him, right? He waited on him. He waited on his opportunity to get the knockout, and the knockout came, just like we all knew, right? Okay. So when I tell you the talent is there in regards to the talent, to me is so much of a disparity in this bout because Terrence ain't gonna make those mistakes even towards the end of the fight, which is why Shakur, I don't think he needs a knockout to win this fight. I don't think he needs a knockout to win this fight at all. Okay, so it's
I'm
to
just
me.
telling you, like the judges don't. I mean, them Canelo judges be something different.
No,
I'm
I
just
get
saying I
that.
don't have the confidence in the fact that they're looking for power and effective aggressiveness. And so he's got to do something to make Canelo feel that extra weight and that extra power he should have. I mean, he looks amazing. Bud's photos came out of his fight ready body, and I was even shocked. I was like, "Good Lord,"
The man's going in shape, and he's gonna be ready. Okay, and he's gonna be ready. What it is this. Okay, what it is this. Every single Canelo opponent, or after opponent after opponent after opponent, is scared to go toe to toe with him. Every single one, right? Okay, so when you look at the punches, you're going punch for punch against Canelo, and you're going one punch at a time. Bud is going to throw hella combinations in there. He's going to fluster him. He's going to move. Those combinations are going to sting his ass all night. He's going to be flustered by the 10th, 11th, 12th round in those championship rounds, and Bud takes over.
Did I really just hear you say you think Bud is going to go toe to toe with Canelo? You honestly
Easy,
think that?
easy,
You think that?
easy,
You're
easy.
you are insane. Let's go to CJ real quick. If a guy is
Easy.
dominant at 140 and then moves to 147, beats the brakes off so-called boogeyman in that division, then he decides to test the waters at 154. He goes up to 168, the so-called face of boxing, arguably one of the three greatest Mexican history. That would seal it for me. Again, you're saying numbers that he went up and beat. Who did he beat? No one. No one. No one. No one. No one. He has beaten no one. I understand and I agree with everybody. I see the potential. I see the talent. But his career is mostly behind him. He is 38 years old, right? He's past that. And he did not beat those guys. He did not beat the top guys at 140. He did not beat the top guys at 147. Because he got the belts did not mean anything because Boots was there. I already named those several fighters, right? He did not fight the toughest fights in any of those three divisions. In fact, he's barely tested the waters at 154 with Madrimov and squeaked barely by. I hear what you're saying, Rob. I'm not following. I'm not following. I definitely think that it is a death sentence for Bud to sit there and trade with Canelo. Listen, I feel like I'm going insane because I've seen this story before with Josito Lopez, with fucking everybody else that he brings up, the Charlo, the fucking Amir Khan. This is what Canelo has done is he gets the public to think, well, these guys have a shot. They never had a shot. He's coming up 3 or 4 weight divisions. It's insanity. It even really should not even be made out of fucking safety reasons. But it continues to happen
Well,
because
only coming up
because it's worth a lot of money, right? Otherwise, we don't see this. We don't see this in other. Do you even see it in MMA? I don't think so. It doesn't happen. This is not something that's normal. This is exhibition. This is what boxing has become. It's become, let's just put names in a hat and draw out of them. And look, Jake Paul's fighting Crawford next week. It's a circus act at best. And then they get people to buy into it.
Oh my God, Lucas!
Lucas, you
Damn,
put
you done had a
Crawford in there.
rant for real. I mean, you sick of boxing.
It's gotten to me, man. It really has. Lucas, would you put Crawford in the top 5 if he makes history? No, he's not stopping Canelo. If he beats Canelo, I will give him his props. I'll put him on the pound for pound list. Top 5 overall? Definitely not. One opponent. I don't care if you went up all of divisions and he beat somebody at heavyweight. One opponent for me does not do it. You cannot name another even halfway decent ass fight that he has
I
fought.
named 4 of them.
And he's
I named 4 of them.
no, not
I
really.
mean, are
Not
we talking
really.
about
I
our
named
all-time
4.
top five?
Really.
Is he talking about our
Yeah,
all-time top
that's what he
five?
said earlier because he said top five. Where's that
I
comment?
mean,
He's
I like
saying all
literally,
time.
He said top
I,
five earlier.
because I respect like boxing so much. Like, there's nobody in current decades like that I would put in a top five.
Like
It's so many older greats that like. So maybe CJ was talking about top five, pound for pound now, because I wouldn't say top five. Like rounding out my top five is like people like Roberto Duran and Sugar
yeah.
Ray Robinson,
There
and
you go. There you go. He said top
like
five all
I'm
time.
like way back. You know what I'm
But
saying? Jack Johnson types.
I
Like
agree. I agree. But Crawford gets a win over Canelo and then he's just top five all time. I can't validate that. I cannot
Oh, he did
validate
say that.
that. Yeah.
May put him top five
He's not
all
the only
time.
one. Again, CJ,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm not calling you out, but I am in a way. I'm saying this is not he's not the only one. This is what people think. And it's gotten into people's heads that if he wins this, he's like the best boxer of all time. And I'm like, dude hasn't beat anybody. Like the resume is just not there. The resume is experience, Rob. I'm going to say he's going to be faster. He's going to have the speed advantage over Canelo. He's going to have his own advantages. But some of what he does in these smaller fights is probably a bad idea. Switching back and forth against Canelo? No, don't do that. You're going to mess yourself up. Listen, Canelo's good enough to see you switch, hit you while you're switching, and then you fall. Do not try this. Do not try
I
this.
mean,
But
I
you
think
need to
he should
stay
just
on
be
it.
southpaw the entire
He
time.
should.
That's what
He
I
should
think.
definitely be. I agree
But
completely.
it's
And
nice to have that in your arsenal to be able to switch. Is all I'm saying.
I do want to go back to that. I usually don't. I will usually just skip these over. Jonathan Ramirez. What the fuck is this? This girl has no idea what she's talking about. You don't know Sakura, and Sakura does know what the fuck she's talking about. Okay, so you can just stop watching. I mean, click off. It's fine. Uh,
Oh, let
but
him watch. I look. I
I mean,
listen. I like people see. They
don't
just see a
disrespect my people.
girl. They
Don't
just see a
disrespect my people.
girl. They see me. I'm pink. They just feel like I don't know what I'm talking about. But didn't I just say I just named like what a top five of all time looks like? I
Yeah,
bet you he couldn't name a top five of all time and what it's supposed to look like. So
yeah.
let him keep going on and saying I don't know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, dot dot dot. What's your top five? Let's see what your top five is
Let's
of
hear it.
all times.
Now, speed. I mean, are you guys in agreement? You think Crawford has the edge?
Yes.
Assuming he
I
hasn't lost
can't
a
say
lot of
that
weight.
because
Assuming
the
because of the
weight
weight,
difference.
right? Right. Because of the gaining of the
Yeah,
weight, we don't know.
he
But
still
We
hold
don't
Canelo
on.
know.
did look slow in that last fight he had. He did the one in Saudi for May. In May, he did look a lot like I don't know if that was just ring rust because
Right.
it's like every 6 months. So maybe that was the problem. But in actuality, that was like the perfect opponent for Canelo to have to prepare for a Crawford. Like somebody that's on the move, got great footwork, and can show some diversity in different countering. So I think that was a good choice for him. But who did Bud get to basically have like a tune up or get ready type fight for Canelo?
Mm.
To prepare for Canelo.
And keep in mind, Canelo and Boots been sparring, right? Boots is
Oh
about
yeah,
as Boots is about as close as you can get right now to a sparring or to actually fighting Crawford. So
yeah.
I like that. I mean, that's a good matchup. That's experience, Rob. That's that experience I'm talking about. We don't know who Crawford's even who he's sparring against. You're going against Canelo. You want to be fighting the biggest, toughest name that will come to your camp, and I don't know what he's doing. I'm not saying that Crawford's trying to grab the bag and run. Could he be? Maybe. But I mean, I'm not saying that because he does seem like a guy that wants to do something for the legacy of it. He does seem like a guy that's more in it for the legacy than the money. But that being said, he's still pulling 50 mil minimum, and then whatever he gets on top of that. So this is a money fight. Let's not get it twisted. And you are still coming up all those weight divisions. You don't do that unless you're getting, quite a big bag. The power advantage, I think we're going to lean towards Canelo only for the fact that he's used to this weight division, right? This is obviously the first time Crawford's fought at 168. This is going to be the first time Crawford's fought at 160. And we all know he didn't really look terribly good at 154. So there's still quite a hoops to jump through. And maybe, Rob, if he took this slower and we saw a little bit more progression or more fights at 154, if he looked more dominant even against Madrimov at 160, maybe I would feel a little bit better going, I see it. I see him beating Canelo. But for now, it just seems like the same story rehashed. And I feel crazy because everybody was telling me Amir Khan was going to beat Canelo. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I thought everybody was smoking crack. I'm like, I'm the only one that's sane anymore because I just don't see it. Out of all the experiences, the ring generalship, guys, who wins that? Who do you guys think has that one? Because honestly, that one may be why. Why are you leaning towards Crawford?
Because Canelo goes forward, that's it. Canelo goes forward, that's it. Puts that pressure on you, puts that weight on you, backs you up in the corner. Backs you up in the corner all the time. He ain't gonna be able to do that with Terrence.
But I hear you. And I think Terrence potentially could, but he does not fight the way that he would need to fight. He doesn't fight on his horse, Rob. He does like to exchange, right? He does. He likes the action too. And when you're exchanging and you're talking about going toe to toe and exchanging with Canelo, there's a big difference, right? In some mix-ups with Madrimov, when he would stay in the pocket too long, he ate some shots. He got hurt. That's going to be that much more amplified against a puncher like Canelo, who's more accurate, who's heavier, who throws harder, and who's got the chin, right? I mean, if we're talking about chin against Crawford and Canelo, I think everybody's leaning towards Canelo. You're muted, Sakura. Sorry.
Oh no. Yeah, that definitely he got a goat like chin. I was gonna say like who has Crawford fought in the past that's like been known for their power. I mean, I'm asking you guys.
I'm
Like,
saying there's not a big list at all. Porter, more of a volume guy. I mean,
yeah,
Spence, I guess, kind of was somewhat power, but again, we can't really count that fight. I mean, that's kind of an
excessive.
asterisk.
Mm.
Uh, Madrimov's not really, but he really hasn't fought some kind of big power puncher. He just hasn't. I mean,
Well, who was
this
he
is
sparring with? Who was his
this is
sparring partner?
I
Did
don't
they
know.
say?
I don't know, and this is part of my point, Rob. Is we're talking about experience. He hasn't even fought a big puncher. I mean,
Right.
that in itself is a big wonder, right? So
Hmm.
it could be any name, and we would still be like, well, I don't know because he hasn't fought that kind of ferocity and that kind of just have at you type all aggression. He hasn't fought that. He has not had to fight off a guy like Isaac Cruz, somebody that just keeps coming forward. He hasn't had to do that yet, and we're supposed to believe that he can do it against again a top pound for pound fighter in boxing. I just don't see it, guys. I just don't see it. Call me
That's the
crazy.
point
Yeah.
of this
I don't
match.
see. I'm trying to see it. I want to see it. Because I have dreams of Bud actually, proving that out of all the boxers that's out here today, that, he's on that elite status with like an NUA. And I mean, I want to see that, but I got to be realistic and you got to go on what the statistics and what everything, the preponderance of evidence shows you. And that's that, nobody's ever been able to hurt Canelo. And part of that has been because he's bringing guys up, like you're saying, Lucas, like from catch weights or bringing them up from lower weight classes to meet him. But when you fighting 3 fights with the god of power and Triple G, and he doesn't hurt you, and they was going at it.
Mhm.
Like, you really got a great chin. Like, you can rely on your chin. Then you fight people at light heavyweight like Cove and Baval, and you don't get hurt in those fights either. So it's kind of like, I think that's real. So with that being said, I don't see him beating him with a knockout
No,
or
I
a
don't think.
stoppage.
I don't think there's any way that he wins by that way. It would have to be decision if Crawford wins. It just has to be. The people that see him knocking Canelo out, I just I can't. And I want somebody to please, if you're watching and you believe that, please tell me why you believe that, or at least something. Tell me something. I gotta have some more info here, guys. Ricardo Ramos. Unfortunately, I agree with you. I love the sport of boxing when it's a sport is more
That's
entertainment
true.
now than it is anything else, and
Yeah.
I just don't see it. Look, it's getting late, guys. Let's go to the
Hold on.
prediction.
Here's my big question to all of y'all, and Ricardo as well. Everybody. Here's my biggest question to y'all. Since y'all are putting all this weight, all this smoke, everything on Terrence Crawford, when Canelo loses, what's he gonna do then? What's Canelo gonna do if he loses this fight? That's what
What
I want to know. That's
What do
the
you
big
mean? He gonna still keep fighting because he's still gonna be the cash
after
cow.
this.
Yeah, he's still gonna be the cash cow.
Where
And
he
then on
gonna
top of that,
go? The cash
he's
cow after
lost
this?
before. But he's lost before. And he still just came back and made another fight. Like, so why wouldn't
Yeah,
he do the same?
he's got a long contract, right? I think he's got 3 more fights after this. So I mean, he's going to
Right.
fight those 3 fights. I think anyway. The question is no matter what will Crawford do next? Win or lose? What is he going to do? Right? If he wins, is he out of here? If he loses, is he out of here? Do you honestly expect him to stay and defend those undisputed titles? Fuck no. I do not. I do not at all. Do I expect him to go back down and actually fight Boots or fight Virgil Ortiz or fight any? No, I don't expect him to do any of that. Terrence Crawford is win or lose is gone after this. I honestly don't see it any other way. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. I'm with Sakura because what I want is to see him win. Then I want to see him at least defend it once. Then I want to see him go back down and beat the guys that we wanted to see him fight to even get to this point. See, for me, if he had beaten a Virgil Ortiz, if he had beaten a Boots Enos, I would be hyped. I'd be ready for this fight. I would at least say, hey, he's beaten these guys down at the 147. I can't even say he's beaten these guys down there. And now he just wants to come on up. You haven't even done your minimum back at that division, even though you say you're undisputed. You haven't even really fulfilled that to me. Because in my eyes, you are very, very disputed. You have 3 names at least that you should be fighting. So CJ says, so if Crawford beats the guy that beat everyone else, minus Floyd and Bivol, does he something GGG didn't do against Canelo? That's all he needs. No, you don't get those wins by association. Oh, so Canelo beat all those guys, so I get his wins because I beat him? No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. I don't understand what you mean, CJ. But that's not how this works. Look, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to say this has happened before. I feel like I'm losing my mind because it feels like history repeating itself for, I don't know, the 8th time of whenever this has happened. Canelo wins again. They're all going to say, oh, well, Bud was daring to be great. And everybody goes back to their divisions that they need to be in. Whether Crawford continues or not, that's going to be on him. I don't know. Maybe he will fight down at the 154, 147, but nobody expects him to stay at 168. Canelo is going to go on to try to probably do a Bivol rematch of some kind. Probably also at the higher weight class of light heavy, so that he can also say he dared to be great, and Bivol will whoop that ass again. I'm going with Canelo, either late round stoppage. I'm saying championship rounds, Canelo stops.
So
I'm
Lucas,
saying Canelo by decision.
so Lucas, what was I gonna tell you? I'm not mad at you, um, per se, for your observation there and saying that, and I agree with you, CJ, but I'll get to
CJ
that
is
in a minute. I'm not mad at you for your observation on saying, because yes, Canelo has a pattern of getting guys with names in the smaller divisions to come up to him and beating the brakes off of that. I understand that.
it's
He
not
does
even.
have a reputation of that. And so I understand what you're saying there. But they're not Terrence fucking Crawford. That's what y'all need to get through your thick, dumbass skulls. This is
Oh
the
man.
best fighter on the planet. Saturday night, he proves it. He doesn't need a knockout to prove it. He outclasses him. He outshines him. He outtalents him. He whoops his candy ass. Terrence Crawford, unanimous decision.
Guess
Because
what? Oh,
Rob
oh,
said so.
unanimous decision. Okay. No, because you used to call Floyd Mayweather the best fighter on the planet. And then you said it was Tyson.
Listen,
Who is it?
he's not Floyd, right? I think
He's
everybody
not.
wants Bud to be Floyd. He's not Floyd. He is not defensively sound like Floyd. He does not even fight remotely close to the way Floyd fights.
You
It
don't
is
have to
it
have the
is
Floyd comparisons. He's
it
not
is
Floyd.
it
You're
is
right.
no
He's
comparison.
Terrence fucking Crawford. That's who we. You know what, Lucas? After Saturday night, I want you to go on air next week and say that he's Terrence fucking Crawford. That's who he is. Put some respect on his name.
CJ says I agree with Rob on this one, and CJ, I'm sorry, but
That's hard to do.
that's you're agreeing to nothing. He has not made a case. He has not made a case for Crawford at all this whole show. He has all he
Well,
said
he's
is
saying
because
he
he's the
agreed with
best.
his prediction. He feel
Yeah,
like
I
it's
know, I know,
just
but
yeah.
CJ's been saying the same thing. There's no case to be made. I don't see it. Rob basically just said because it's not Terrence Crawford. Like, okay, but who is Terrence Crawford? We don't even know. We do not know because no test was ever given, right?
Well,
I,
we'll see what this speed is the only thing that can let successfully counter power. And so we'll just have to see if Crawford loses some of his steam with the extra weight or not. But
yeah,
I definitely don't see like a TKO or something for you know for for Crawford to get. I don't see that. So it's got to be by decision some kind of way. That's how I'm feeling.
Lucas, you
no,
did
And
not
if we're
pull up the
lucky,
odds
maybe it's
to
a draw, and then maybe there's a two. They can make more money out of it.
what are the odds, Lucas?
I'm glad you asked because we're about out of time here. Let's see. I had that up. So obviously Canelo is the favorite, but not by a lot. The odds do surprise me because I thought it would be a little bit more wide for Canelo. Um, this time, it is rather close.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you're looking at that. It depends what site you go to, but you're looking at about minus 170 to 180. Canelo's favorite, plus 140
Yeah.
underdog. That's close. For
Well,
Vegas,
hey, that ain't no money to be made.
they're saying that's close. Especially for somebody who's came up all these weight divisions. Very, very close fight.
Now I wonder what the odds are for Terrence to get a KO. That's the big question.
That's probably almost nothing. Let's see.
Just saying, people, if y'all really believe he gonna get that KO, you might want to put your money where your mouth is.
I might be able to get that stat for you. Let's see. So plus 800 for Terrence Crawford to get KO, TKO, or DQ win.
Oh, there ain't no money to be made on that either.
Draw is plus 1,400.
Uh,
Canelo
Plus
wins
800. That's good odds.
Canelo. It
I
is
like
pretty good
those
odds,
odds.
but not as good as what it should be. I mean, Crawford. That should be even better than the draw. I think plus 1,400. A draw is more likely than Terrence Crawford knocking him out.
Yeah.
To me, we got another comment sneaking in here. 75, 185. What does that
it's
mean?
the score. He thinks that's the score.
I don't know.
No, I think he's
Oh,
talking
he thinks
about.
that's the odds?
Oh.
Cardo, I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, guess what? I mean, I see it could be a draw, and then I see that it could be like it normally is when it goes to the scorecards with Canelo, and that's that he just edges it out.
But
I
I
don't
do want
see how a
everybody to
draw can
comment.
happen in this one. There's too many variables in this one that outweigh each other
So you're
to
not gonna
me
bet.
see it being a draw.
I,
So
I think I'm gonna put money on Canelo. It is too close. You're not winning enough money. You know, it's
yeah.
not for nothing.
I'm putting my money on that KO, baby.
Please comment below. Am I crazy? Is Rob crazy? What are we talking about here, guys? This is one that's supposed to be for like the top pound for pound of all time, or at least top pound for pound currently. All time, if you ask CJ. But let us know. First round draw. Okay, Jay.
Oh,
I
first
mean,
round was 175. The draw was 180.
plus 14 for a draw. I might put some money on that. Yeah, I think a draw makes sense when you add all the money that's going into this fight and all the attention that it's getting. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Been a great show. Check us out next week. We're going to go back to Tuesday for a little bit. But just stay on all of our social media at Heavy Bag Boxing, and we'll see you again next week.